Hello everyone, this is Babamots. Welcome to some more Homeworlds commentary. This game was provided as a suggestion by someone from the suggestion input form, which you can find in the video description. There's a link. It's a game between someone who goes by F, followed by some underscores, and SenetMaster. And I'm a little out of practice doing commentaries. While they've been coming out once a week, I haven't actually done one in several weeks. I was working on the John Cooper interview, editing the video for quite a while. Hopefully you saw that recently, enjoyed it. Okay, let's see what happens here. F going first. Oh, and I'll throw this out. SenetMaster has been playing for a while anyway, maybe coming up close to a year now. Has done fairly okay. It's getting some skills together, and F hasn't been playing as much, but in looking over recent results, I think they were starting to win some games. I think F might be one to keep an eye on. All right, F takes a yellow banker. Senet takes a red-green fortress blue ship. So large universe here. F trades for red right away. Senet goes for the yellow, so if F doesn't look out, they're going to get locked out of the yellow. Yeah, Senet knows about that. So if F wants a large ship, they'll probably, if they want a yellow ship, they'll probably have to trade their large for it. F building the blue, yeah, Senet doing the right thing, I think. Just gobbling up those yellows. F building more red, so I think what I'm seeing here is that F doesn't really have a notion about how to use the bank. Senet has a definite plan. They've taken up the rest of the small yellows, so that it's harder for F to get trade for any yellows. And F needs to get a small green, so that they still have a green, but then they need to trade their mothership for a big yellow. Yeah, so Senet, I guess, was a little concerned about the small reds running out. One thing that sometimes happens is that one person will get all the smalls of one color, and so the other player has to trade away their monopoly in the other color. So if SenetMaster had to trade a small yellow back into the bank in order to get red, then F would have had another opportunity to get a small yellow. But Senet already had a medium, so they're able to jump ahead here, leaving F to... they can build another small red, but F's having a hard time getting mediums even, and Senet's just trading and building those medium yellows. Yep, okay, F's got the right idea here. Trade the mothership. So now if Senet moves forward a small yellow... Oh, no, Senet maybe is going to just... Okay, the monopoly, the freeze out is more or less lost. If I was Senet, I would have probably moved forward a small yellow, so that if F had tried to build any more yellow, Senet could sacrifice the Y2 to overpopulate F's mothership and a star. Senet instead going to turn their attention to other colors, getting a green. F spreading out the blue. That's a vulnerable position. That little blue could get invaded, could even get invaded in one turn if Senet was really dedicated to it. Invaded by a medium ship that F wouldn't be able to attack, that is. Senet very similarly moving out to a little blue star. So both of these colonies are productive. They've got blue and green. They can build and diversify. F takes another green. That opens up the mediums for Senet. And if F takes a medium, Senet could sacrifice the Y2 to overpopulate the greens. F does do the build. Does Senet want to overpopulate? Yes. Let's see if they commit. They do. All right, so F, yeah. F is left with no green and significant material disadvantage, having no mediums either. Okay, Senet pushing forward, getting the 2 stars that getting the 2 ships that match their home stars into the colony here. I think that's a good idea. So Senet has exactly 1 piece of each color, 1 ship of each color, and can build anything. F also has ships of every color and can build any color, but Senet's, of course, is better because they've got the mediums. Okay, Senet looking for the reds again, and this is pretty common that there's 1 small piece of each color left in the bank. Nobody wants to take that last one and open up the mediums. So what does F do? F spreads out the greens. I think that's pretty sensible. F has a head start in building greens. They've got 2 of them now at 2 separate places. So if Senet goes for green, then F is well equipped to compete for the greens. Senet trading out for yellow. Yellow is the color that F is least able to compete in since it's their mothership and it matches a star. So even 1 yellow build could be trouble for F pretty quickly. Moving the last green out of your homeworld, I almost never recommend. That takes away F's ability to build green or yellow and red. No, not so good. And yeah, okay, so Senet, having acquired yellow in the colony, now can invade Castor, and there's nowhere that little green can't run away on its own power. It can sacrifice and rebuild someplace. Yeah, the green teleport, I think, is probably their best choice. And Senet with a yellow in an advanced position is threatening to overpopulate if F ever does happen to build another yellow. Okay, F trades out of the yellow, which makes pretty good sense because of that threat. But I have my doubts about F ever getting another yellow ship. The smalls are gone. And F hasn't been able to get a medium. Okay, Senet builds a Y2. F spreads out the green. Yeah, F might get something done with a lot more greens. Just starting to push the boundary of the mediums. Just as F is about to get their first medium, Senet gets large. Okay, so F gets that medium ship. That's now a factory, especially since Senet doesn't have any greens, but they trade in for a green. Now it's an even better factory, actually, because they'll have some actual choice about what to build with their third action. Senet commit to this? They do. I think it's a good idea for Senet to have some green of some kind here, although they don't need it all that much. Senet just about has the material they need for the win. They just need to build some blue back at home. And they'll have enough yellow and blue for the Doomsday Machine. Okay. F gets some more blue, but so that was the factory build with their extra action. They got the blue. I guess that's probably the best idea. But F needs some yellow, and they'll need to sacrifice a blue to get it. I think the F's fastest route to blue, which Senet is pretty likely to cut off, to sacrifice B1 to trade the G2 for Y2. But I think Senet's just going to build at least the medium, maybe sacrifice the G2 to also build the large yellow. Just a medium? Yeah, that's enough. Okay, F. Okay, this is solid. Discovering a B2 star takes it out of the bank, opens up the larges. Senet will get one of them, but F can get one too. Well, I say it's solid, but um, if Senet builds the B2 first, and if F builds one now, the trouble here is that Senet really can afford to lose. Well, maybe it's better than I thought. I was going to say Senet can sacrifice a Y2 to move a B3 into Altair, blow up all of F's blue. Senet will still have blue and can start gobbling that up. But that will put a Y2 back in the bank, which F could trade for. It actually might be better here for Senet to sacrifice Y3, since F can't safely trade for a Y3. Put the Y3 in the bank instead. Yeah, and Senet's got so much more material that they can afford to lose that. Senet, okay, just building the Y3 instead. That's good as well. Neither player's shown much interest in the red so far, which is why it's the only thing left in the bank. If either player were to try to invade in a colony, the other person might have to sacrifice red. Well, no, Senet's got the red home star, a red in one colony, and a red star in the other colony. Senet's covered for red, actually. Okay, yeah, this is good. This is a thing to learn from. It shouldn't work out in this case, but F has the right idea. F is really desperate for more yellow. You can't win this game without yellow ships. Not usually. So F has done a good thing, I think. Sacrificed the B1 to trade the G1 for B1 here in Deneb. The idea here is good. Sacrifice the B1. That puts the Y3 back in the bank, and then F can trade B3 for Y3. F finally has a yellow ship. The idea is very good. However, this is a really easy thing for Senet to spoil. Since it's just a B1, Senet could invade with, say, any of their medium ships in Betelgeuse, or the large for that matter. And that would prevent Deneb from going back to the bank once F sacrifices the B1. Oh, okay. And Senet doesn't do that. Instead, they've traded for an R3. That makes it even easier for F to get a Y3. Oh, but it's very important that they do it in the Altair colony, not at home. F needs to take this back. Oh, well, that hurts. Senet can knock out F's mothership and a home star. Pretty cheaply. They don't even need to sacrifice a yellow to do it. Just move in the Y3. F's got to capture it. Then move in the Y2 for the overpopulation. And then Senet just needs... Well, Senet doesn't actually... The blue's all out of the bank, and Senet doesn't have enough blue to overpopulate F's other home star. So Senet will need to find themselves some more blue before finishing off the other star, but... Okay. Senet missed an opportunity to save that Y2, assuming they commit to this, and they do. Yeah, so Senet didn't need to sacrifice the Y2 to do that. But they still took out the mothership and a star, so it's going to work out for them, I think. And yeah, F's really got nothing. They try to get a yellow. They'll need it to get a large ship back to their homeworld. Senet invading this colony, really Senet should, so with F's small star destroyed, F's homeworld is connected to Betelgeuse. Senet mm, should have invaded F's homeworld, um, probably with the blue. If they do it with the red, let me pull up the whiteboard here if I can find it. So if Senet were to invade F's homeworld with the red, well, so it would have been from Betelgeuse, which is now connected to F's home. If they invade with that large red, then F can sacrifice G2 to build 2 more reds, overpopulate the invader, and F, while still hopelessly behind, managed to defend that one threat. I think Senet's best move with the R3 back here would have been sacrifice the Y2 to move the B3 into F's home. When you've got a large invader, an invader that's too large for your opponent to capture, and that invader matches the color of your last remaining star, you've got no defense at all. You can't overpopulate that invader because you'd lose the game. And you can't capture the invader because it's too big. So that, I think, would have been Senet's right move. But now F gets a chance to deal with the colony instead. Retreats with the little yellow. Senet captures the other ship. F gets to trade for a Y3 now. That puts the B3 back in the bank. Senet, if they spread out their blues and create a threat at the same time that they spread out the blues and prepare to build the B3, Senet will then have enough blue to finish off the Doomsday Machine. Senet instead going for more red. It's true that F is quite low on red, and that could be a critical problem. F builds B3. They need the material, but they need it to be at home. I think neither player has noticed that Senet's home is just 2 jumps from F's home now, and the Y2 sacrifice brings a B3 from Senet's home to F's home. Okay, Senet spreading out the blue, so that B3 is now just 1 jump from F's home. Let's see if they notice that. Okay, F recalls the Y3. Good, and F's now got a happy home, 1 ship of each color, as far from catastrophe as it could be. Senet doesn't actually have enough blue to overpopulate here, so F is more stable than they've been for a while. I think F's biggest problem now is a shortage of red. If Senet were to come in with 2 larges, which they can't quite do correctly yet, if Senet were to come in with 2 larges, F would only be able to capture 1 of them, and Senet would be able to sacrifice, well, the R3, if one of those larges was not the R3, of course. Yeah, there you go. Now Senet's got the R2, and if then it just moves the R3 forward, then they sacrifice Y2. Okay, so Senet first moves the, I mean, they could even, okay, Senet sacrifices Y1 to move R3 forward. Then it's a check situation where F is in danger of a combo. Senet sacrifices the Y2, move 2 larges into F's home. F can only capture 1 of them, and then Senet sacrifices the R2 to capture their own large back and F's mothership, and Senet wins promptly. So F needs to get R2 this turn, or I think they technically have 1 additional turn to do this. Okay, Senet sacrificing the Y2. I think this is not the right way to go. If you moving 2 reds into F's home. Okay, yeah, if you overpopulate F's only red ship, then F can't defend against any kind of invasion. but I don't think this actually... I don't think this works out if F plays it right. F captures one of these little reds. Senet can simply capture it back, and they're headed for a draw. Or, so say F captures one of these little reds. Senet can sacrifice R2 to capture that little red back. So that's SenetMasters again, and capture this guy. F now has no red, but Senet has 3 small reds that can't actually capture anything in F's home. F can simply trade some other ship, I don't know, maybe the Y2 for a red, and F can capture anything that, any bigger threats that Senet sends in. I don't think this is a good invasion from Senet. Okay. That's interesting. They're sacrificing the red 1 for the capture. This is the opposite of what you want to do. So the problem, and maybe I think what's happening here is that F is thinking about how, oh, you can't slow push a red catastrophe. If you're worried about a red catastrophe, you should sacrifice your reds in order to perform the captures to reduce the red concentration. But that's not the situation here. F had the danger to that little red ship belonging to F was that it would get captured. If SenetMaster wants to spend an enormous amount of red in order to overpopulate F's 1 small red, then that's just a big blow to SenetMaster's material advantage. F should not sacrifice that little red to capture, but they do. All right then. Senet should just capture F's little red, and because F sacrificed their little red for that capture, F has no red now at all. And those little reds are not a danger much, but F should... the danger is that F no longer has any red anywhere. They need to trade one of their ships for red. The problem with trading the blue, as F has just done, is that Senet then gets to build that blue, and Senet now has enough blue to finish their Doomsday Machine. They just need a little more yellow. Okay, but that's what F does. Senet... Oh, okay. Senet blowing it now. Senet moved in with their B3. It's not time for that. F simply sacrifices R3 to capture all 3 of the invaders, and F is doing okay. Still a little behind because they've lost their home star, but thoroughly caught up in material. Yeah, I think F is now ahead in material. Okay, so this... Senet has succeeded in making this interesting. But through making mistakes. Yeah, F's got a very comfortable home now. Senet doesn't have the blue to overpopulate. F's got only small reds for now, but Senet doesn't have yellow for a double invasion to take advantage of the lack of medium reds. Yeah, it's not bad. Senet does get to build the B3. So F needs to spread out the blues at home before Senet gets enough yellow to cause a problem here. That B1 in Altair, that was actually... Altair, I think, was a better place for it. It was... well, I don't know. Why move to a new small star? I guess with the... Okay, yeah. So this puts a little pressure on Senet. If F were to sacrifice Y3 at this point, F could move in 2 blues and blow up Senet's 2 other ships. But that's not going to work out because Senet just has to spread out. And they're threatening this last blue now. This They're threatening to capture this small blue, which will give Senet, again, enough blue for the Doomsday Machine. F wasn't worried about it. Even, no, trading for yellow, even though Senet would have to sacrifice an R2 to do it, which is a material loss, Senet needs this this blue. Well, no, okay, so the Senet's taking an alternative approach. Okay, this is okay. So what I'm seeing here is um, F has the problem that if Senet from this position sacrifices Y2, moves the B3 into F's home, completely ignoring this stranded B1, moves the B3 into F's home. F's got to capture it, and with the other move action from that Y2 sacrifice, Senet moves to a new Y1 star, which is in the bank. That leaves Senet with only one ship at home, but F has got to capture that B3 invader, and on Senet's next turn, they move the B3 into F's home. I see a tiny possibility of counterplay if F sacrifices the Y2. No, I was going to say sacrifice the Y2 to reinforce your home with... Well, no, let's see. Sacrifice the Y2 to move the B3 all the way over to Senet's home. I guess that wouldn't be the combination. It would be to a small star and then to Senet's home. But at that point, F is threatening to win by capturing Senet's last remaining home ship. And they've taken the blue out of their home that would contribute to Senet's catastrophe. And Senet doesn't quite win because with the R3 sacrifice, Senet only captures 3 ships. F still has one. So I'm not actually positive how that turns out. But it probably won't be what happens anyway because the players like to... But I mean, you need to be able to think these things through. This makes a little bit of a twisty situation. I'm curious to see how F reacts. F may just miss it entirely and lose, or F might respond brilliantly. Okay, sacrificing the Y1. This is doing in some ways the opposite of what F needs to do right now. F needs, in that line I was discussing, F needs every one of these ships that they've got to still be at home. But they're not going to go that way anyhow. And Senet just building a little yellow. F now sacrificing G3. No. Just an ordinary build of a G1. Senet sacrificing Y1 to invade a colony from which F can run away and SenetMaster can't pursue. I don't like that. I think that was... Well, okay, yeah, okay. Wait, where did it come from? That R3 just now came from Electra. Okay. All right, this is fine. This is actually... I don't know if this is what the players are thinking or not, but I believe that was a sound move from Senet, actually. F has to run... F, very much the obvious thing is to run away with that Y2. I think that was actually the wrong move here, because Senet now, from this position, sacrifices Y2, moves in with 2 large ships. F cannot capture them both. F captures one of them. Senet sacrifices the R2 to capture their own ship back. but only one of... Okay, no, I take it back. It's not sound. Um, because F has both two reds and two larges. This is kind of heading for a draw if Senet tries to invade from this position, I think. Yeah, Senet does do the invasion. Okay, let's see. Am I right that this should be a draw? So my guess is that F will not figure out what to do here, or F might even just resign. If F captures, I think it doesn't even really matter which one they capture. F captures one of the invaders. There's no blue left in the bank, so F can't build their way into an overpopulation. Oh, it does matter. Okay. Tricky, tricky. F has got to capture the R3. If F were to capture the B3, check this out. Senet sacrifices the B3, puts it back in the bank, uses the trade action to trade their R3 for B3. That's an overpopulation for the win. Okay, so F has got to capture the R3, which is the more natural thing to do anyway when you're being invaded. Let's see if... What? F just builds? Oh, please. Overpopulating? Oh, please. Nope. Okay. Yeah, so F... F couldn't find it. Sorry, F. Um, yeah, if F had just captured... All right. Do we go back? Is it worth going back? Biggest complaint about BGA is that it's such a pain to watch to rewind in the replay, but I think this is an important position to understand correctly. Okay. F at this point captures the R3. Senet sacrifices the R2 to capture their R3 back, and let's say captures the... I think it needs to be the G3, because that puts the threat back on the table of the B3 sacrificed, followed by... Now it's a G3 that gets traded for the B3 for the overpopulation and win. No, it's got... So, yes. Okay, so they capture the G3, but then F can just capture... No. Okay, either way. Okay. All right, all right. Senet, I think Senet was right all along, but just barely. Okay, so from this position again, Senet sacrifices the R2. No, sorry, it's F's turn. F captures the R3. Senet then sacrifices R2 to capture the R3 back and capture the G3. F can only capture back one of those two, either the R3 or the G3. Whichever one they take, Senet has this opportunity: sacrifice the B3 to trade the other one for B, to trade whichever ship F did not just capture into a B3 overpopulation and win. Okay. All right, Senet. I may have derogated your plan a little, but denigrate, D word. I may have misunderestimated your plan. But F did not find the play that's just the capture that would have made that a tighter ending. But Senet, I think, could have won anyhow. Anyway, that ended up pretty interesting in the end. I think there were a lot of mistakes along the way from both players, although having seen that Senet's plan would have worked out, makes me wonder if some of Senet's other moves that I criticized may actually have been right. Um, but I bet at least a few of those were blunders. Anyway, that's all for now. Thanks for watching.